That song put Jewel on the map and earned her the first of several Grammy nominations, but the road to riches wasn't always paved with gold for the author, actress, and entrepreneur. Maria Bartiromo sat down with her at the SALT conference and talked to her about how her struggles helped drive her success.
I'm sort of what people would call a junk bond kid. Nobody would invest in me. As a human, as a child, my mom left when I was 8. My dad had a lot of trauma from his own childhood and then went to Vietnam and picked up a lot more trauma. And when my mom left, he suddenly found himself a single father and was incredibly anxious and turned to drinking to try and calm that anxiety. And he became abusive when I was 8. So I moved out at 15 knowing that I didn't receive good nurture. And if I didn't receive good nurture, could I get to know my real nature? And that's what I set out to try and accomplish at 15, is can I re-nurture myself? Can I get to know my real nature? Can I learn what happiness is if it wasn't taught in my household? I did pretty good for, 3 years. I got myself through school. I graduated. I, paid rent. I worked jobs. And then when I was 18, I was living in San Diego to take care of my mother who was sick. And a boss propositioned me. And when I didn't sleep with him, he fired me without giving me my paycheck. And I couldn't pay my rent that month, and we got kicked out. Started living in my car, thinking it would only last a couple months, but then the car I was living in got stolen.
What a story.
Yeah,
so then the car gets stolen.
I almost died of a kidney infection because I had no health care, no insurance. The emergency room turned me away. I was dying of sepsis. My kidneys weren't cleaning my blood. And luckily a doctor had seen me get turned away in the emergency room, and he came out to my car where I was throwing up all over myself, and he handed me antibiotics in a card, and he treated me for free. And then the car I was living in got stolen. So that's how I ended up homeless.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Most people would not keep trying, but you did. I mean, what was that like, being homeless?
You're really reduced to being an animal. You worried about food, shelter, safety, and water 24/7. You're an animal. You're just stuck on survive. And I began shoplifting. I was having panic attacks. I was agoraphobic. And I looked in the mirror one day. I was trying to steal a dress, and it was $40. And I looked at my reflection, and I went, I didn't beat the odds. I'm a statistic.
When did fame first hit? When were you first noticed?
I was discovered while I was homeless. The record labels didn't realize that I was homeless. A bootleg of mine ended up on the radio, and all these labels started coming down. It was like being Cinderella in the pumpkin. I was offered $1 million signing bonus,
wow.
But I had read a book called Everything You Need to Know About the Music Business that taught me that advances were basically a loan, and you had to pay it back with record sales. And so you never would make money until you paid back that loan. And if you didn't pay back that loan, you would get dropped from your label. And I know I was going to make a folk record at the height of grunge. I knew it probably wouldn't be successful. And I cared about my authenticity much more than I cared about being famous or rich. I wanted the opportunity to do something I loved every day. And I knew with my emotional background, my baggage, and my background, if you add fame into the mix, it should lead to just self-implosion, to self-destruction. And I didn't want to self-destruct. So my #1 job was how to be a whole, happy human. My #2 job was how to be a musician.